Today's Event Wednesday comes to you in 4 parts. Part 1, GM. Obviously, if you've been following the news for a while, then you know that GM's in pretty dire straits right now. They are cutting back drastically, and one of these cuts includes the GM plant in Mansfield, near where I live, which is costing a lot of people their jobs. It may be worth pointing out that the day that the bankruptcy was announced for GM, stocks went way up, which basically just means that the people have some hope that this will actually solve some problems. But with GM filing for bankruptcy and Chrysler filing for bankruptcy, it seems like Ford's the only one of the big 3 that has their act together. So for those of you participating in the Ford Fiesta movement, I certainly hope it does what it's supposed to do. Part 2, the shooting of this doctor in Kansas, I think? Yeah. A Kansas doctor who performed late-term abortions was shot to death. And I think we should all take note of the irony that somebody who claims to be pro-life decided to argue his point by killing somebody. I think this pretty well illustrates the point that I was trying to make back when I made that video about abortion. It is incredibly unfortunate that there is seemingly no reconciliation between the 2 sides. And what shocks me is not so much that somebody chose to kill this man over this issue, but that even after his death, there are still conservative pundits who are getting on TV and saying, well, it's a tragedy, but this man was responsible for the mass murder of thousands of babies. I mean, first of all, the guy performed late-term abortions, yes, when there was a danger to the mother. And second of all, I think these guys have an awful lot of nerve to even sort of imply that there was anything okay about what this pro-life person did. Part 3, the Supreme Court. Obama has nominated a Hispanic woman, I believe the first Hispanic woman to the Supreme Court. I believe the first Hispanic period to the Supreme Court. And she made a comment some time ago, which basically said that her experiences being a Latin American woman enabled her to be a better judge than a white man. And this is being taken completely out of context by conservatives who are saying that she said that Latin American women's judgment by and large is better than that of white men, and therefore calling her a racist. And I think it's safe to say that I speak for all intelligent and thoughtful people everywhere when I say, shut up. And finally, part 4. California. California gets its own category because California is a mess right now. First of all, the Supreme Court has not overturned Prop 8. If you haven't already, then you should watch this video by DeppFox, I think is his YouTube username. This homosexual couple with their 2 kids decided to go and actually be at the California Supreme Court when they made the decision. And they filmed the whole trip, and the video kind of illustrates how badly the California Supreme Court dealt with the problem, so you should all go and watch that video. But in addition to that, California is also being hit really hard economically. They're making cuts right and left. A lot of those cuts are in schools or in healthcare facilities. And the government of California is continuing to insist that making these cuts is what is going to solve the problem and that they're not going to raise taxes at all. So obviously people are losing jobs, but also they're making cuts in education and healthcare, which if you know me, you know that I'm very much against both of those things. Not education and healthcare, but the cuts to education and healthcare, just to be clear. And outside of politics, they've been having earthquakes and the wildfire season is coming up, and so I'm kind of glad I'm not in California right now. And that concludes Event Wednesdays for this week. Feel free to comment on anything that I have said, and I'll be seeing you next time. Bye now.